Depending on scale and profitability, mineral oil and gas projects offer governments a low-hanging fruit in the form of revenue collected from the projects. However, the precursor is firstly a sound fiscal policy, but then disciplined institutions of government charged with the management of the revenue across the board. Having said that, revenue from mineral oil and gas resources is also vulnerable to two very difficult problems from both a resource management but also a governance perspective, and that is the advent of the resource curse. Secondly, it is the political economy in which the politicians and the elite see revenue from mineral resources as a vehicle to promote their own interests. When I think about revenue from extractives, I think of it as a pipeline, starting therefore with a policy, a law, and then systems for assessing what the government is entitled to, systems for collecting, systems for managing public revenue, but also systems for managing savings. The importance of a system that governs these consistently, transparently, and responsibly is the difference between failure and success of countries to benefit from revenue from mineral resources. The source of revenue from mineral oil and gas projects comprises several channels. There are a few that are very specific to the type of industries. Royalty is one of them. Production sharing is another. And then, of course, dividends in the case where the state has a right to equity. Other sources of revenue, though very important, are nevertheless not unique to these industries, and that is corporate tax, VAT, and for that matter, capital gains tax. But it is the totality of these sources of revenue that can potentially be transformational if the government manages the process properly, including the hierarchy of these various instruments. One of the challenges facing governments is ways of balancing current and future expenditure, such that revenue from mineral oil and gas is not just used to meet current needs but future needs. And typically, governments that get it right create a sovereign wealth fund. Now, sovereign wealth fund is not exclusive to mineral oil and gas revenue, but for emerging market countries, it is almost exclusively managing these resources. The challenge is not how to manage. The rules of engagement are well understood. The importance of a law, the importance of a board that manages the fund, the importance of investing, the importance of ring fencing. All these rules are understood, and yet in many countries they are ignored, such that the sovereign welfare fund ends up essentially being depleted. Importantly, one thinks of revenue. Revenue speaks to governments in a particular way and investors differently. Governments want to maximize and get as much revenue. Investors also want to do the same. The result is that you have a clash of interest. The best fiscal policies seek to ensure a fair return to investors while at the same time allowing governments to benefit from the wealth of their countries.